Guys, in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Ultimate Iron Man. This is a Marvel Legends series figure. It does come with a cool little comic book, as you guys can tell. Ultimate Iron Man, definitely a nice figure. It looks pretty cool in my opinion. It does have a few accessories, the little comic book thing, and it does come with 2 additional interchangeable sets of hands. I ended up getting this one at Target for $12.50. I think it originally was $24.99, kind of expensive. I really wasn't too big on getting this version of Iron Man, but getting it for Target clearance is not too bad. I'm just waiting for Miles to end up getting on clearance as well. On the back of the box, you guys do notice that it does have the other figures in this line. It's not a build-a-figure wave, but it does have other figures that were just in this line. You got Marvel's Banshee, Iron Man, Adam Warlock, Wolverine or Dakin Wolverine, Ultimate Miles Morales, and then Rom. Definitely not too bad in my opinion. Can't wait to see how this accessory looks. So we're gonna go ahead and open the figure and then go to the accessories first. So here we have a trade shot of Iron Man. I'm not gonna be keeping the box, so I just tore it all up. So let's go ahead and get into the accessories. So the first thing we're gonna look at is a little comic book. It looks pretty cool in my opinion. I thought I was gonna have like a little bit of pages, kind of like the mini brand version of like little comic books, but it's just a piece of hard plastic and it has just like this logo printed on it. It is kind of sticky, which feels kind of weird, but overall, I guess not that bad. On the back, it does say Marvel Legends series. Overall, it's gonna be a nice accessory to have, just to portray on like regular characters, I guess. Another set of Iron Man's hand. It is kind of like an open palm hand or maybe like the repulsor ray hands. Overall, pretty decent. It would have been cool if it came with like some effects in order to like, make this make sense. And then we do have some open palm hands. I'm assuming these hands are going to be for holding the comic book, I guess. Not sure exactly what this is for, considering he doesn't come with anything. So let's go ahead and look at Iron Man. So here we have Ultimate Iron Man. Not really a typical Iron Man suit that most people tend to like. Overall, it's really not too bad. I think it's a really great suit. I like the way the colors, the silver, and then the red, and then the gold accents look pretty dope in my opinion. The figure itself moves pretty good. Has like a weird plastic smell. Not sure exactly what that is. Maybe that could be the paint, but it just smells kind of funny. Just decided to, point that out. Overall, it looks pretty good in my opinion. It would have been nice if this came with like an interchangeable head sculpt, like a Tony. Head sculpt would have been nice, or just, a little bit more to come with it, like at least like an effect or something like that. But overall, is not too bad in my opinion. But for $24, it is kind of steep. I know a lot of these figures are becoming a little bit more expensive, and that's why this is not a figure I decided to pay for full price. Got it for clearance for $12.50 or $12.25, however much it was. They did have a couple. I only grabbed one just because I didn't really feel like getting more. But let's go ahead and put some of these hands on Iron Man and see what it looks like. I did forget to mention the original hands he comes with are closed fist. Pretty decent in my opinion. As you can see, I tried using the open palm position as if he's like, using his repulsor rays. Now, it would have been nice if the palms had some kind of like paint application on there so you guys can kind of see the effect. But it's just molded holes on there. Really don't like that. Not sure exactly what they were going for this, but overall, it's really not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and change the other hands, but I do like the open palm hand look. Looks pretty good. Pretty iconic style for Iron Man to have his, open hands like that to use the repulsor rays. All right, so here we have Iron Man holding the comic book. He is able to hold it pretty decently. I tried to make sure I didn't scratch it because I'm sure a lot of these printed pieces tend to scratch fairly easy, but he was able to hold this comic book just fine. I don't mind it at all. Him coming with interchangeable hands is pretty cool in my opinion. I do like having a bunch of accessories. So when it comes to accessories, hands and then this little comic book, I think I'll give it a decent 7 out of 10. Not really the best. Would have liked having some effect, but I guess having this comic book, I guess, is what replaced it. I'm not sure exactly the significance of it. You guys let me know down in the comment section below. Why is it important to have? Like I said, I'm not really too sure. So we're going to go ahead and look at the articulation of this Ultimate Iron Man figure. All right, so here we have Ultimate Iron Man. We're going to go ahead and just keep these open palm hands just because. So looking at this figure, it looks pretty cool. Like I said before, I like the color scheme. I like the gray, the red, the slight gold accents. If it had a little bit more paint application, I think it would be more ideal in my opinion. But like I said, I really don't know too much about this version of Iron Man, so maybe this is just pretty accurate. So we're going to go ahead and look at the elbow articulation right there, single jointed elbows right there, which I guess is not too bad. I mean, I've had other Iron Man figures with double jointed elbows, but I would have liked to have that. And it's also single jointed knees, which it kind of looks like it would be double jointed from the way this looks, but it's not. It's single jointed knees, kind of bummer. And there's no thigh swivel as well. I mean, this is kind of like thigh swivel, but not exactly like how I would interpret thigh swivel. He doesn't have any calves. He doesn't have any thigh swivel. At least it kind of is, but not really. And it is kind of weird, like the way it moves, but whatever. His ankle does go up and down. It does rotate, but he kind of it's a little hindered because of the plastic and then the armor. His arms can do a 360, but this shoulder piece is attached from the inside, so I don't want to do a complete 360 because it's my Captain Rex. I felt like kind of messed it up a little bit from doing that, so we're just gonna go rotate it just like this. There we go. When I tried rotating forward, it kind of got stuck, so we're gonna be easy on that. His arm goes this high, you know, single jointed right there. They both go the same rotation basically. When it comes to ab crunch, he has a decent amount of ab crunch, but he does go right back into motion. Back also the same way, where he does arch back, but then it goes right back to the same position. When it comes to the head sculpt, it looks down slightly, looks up slightly as well. Can look left and right. Can't do a complete 360. You probably could, but then you'll risk scuffing up the paint or at least the plastic. And let's see, this does rotate 360. Overall, that's pretty smooth. I mean, for an Iron Man figure, it's not too bad. I would have preferred having double jointed knees in light of having single jointed elbows, but it is pinless as well, which is pretty cool. I mean, this figure is probably more for stance and just keeping it like in a specific spot with your Iron Man figures, Hall of Iron Man, and all that stuff. Overall, definitely not a bad figure. If I would have paid $24, I'd probably be a little bit upset because this is definitely not a figure I would have liked paying $24 for. But I do see a lot of the detail. I do like the sculpt of like the feet and the armor and everything about it. It looks pretty cool. I mean, would I recommend this? Yes, for a clearance of $12. You might end up seeing this one at Ross at some point. I wouldn't be surprised. But overall, Ultimate Iron Man, as far as articulation, definitely give it like a 5 out of 10. Is kind of booty. I really felt like it could have been better, but you know, it's still not a bad figure. It has some accessories. You know, this comic book is pretty dope. I'm not sure exactly how I would display him. Definitely pretty decent in my opinion. Also has the little bicep swivel I forgot to mention, and then the wrist kind of rotate, but it is a little hindered from right here because of this like blaster or whatever he has on there. Like I said, I'm not really too familiar with this version of Iron Man, so yeah, don't quote me on anything wrong or just the way he looks. But anyways, you guys comment down below, what do you guys think of this Ultimate Iron Man figure, and just stay tuned for more review videos coming up soon, and I'll see you guys in the next video.